Hello, welcome to the channel and welcome back to Resurwreck Autos HQ. Guys, it is Wednesday. I didn't manage to push out a video yesterday, Tuesday. I had so much running around to do, I just didn't have time to do it. But I think I've got everything today to be able to sort out the Nissan Juke with the front gearbox cooler problem issue, stuff like that. So I think I'm going to resolve that today. And then I need to give you an update of what's going on. So once we've done this, hopefully that fixes it. We can then jump over to the Citroen C3 and give that a good push along, because I've got that back from the paint shop now. So yeah, let's get into it and I'll explain everything what is going on. So let's do this. Right, okay, so guys, let me just explain what happened yesterday. I had loads of bits and pieces to do, running around. I wanted to get everything for this car because, you know, I took this apart to see what is going on. And basically what I found is that when you take these nuts off the bottom here, and this side one, this just pulls away and pulls up. So I took it all off, gave it a clean to see what is going on and what we need to replace. And what I found out is that this is a nearly new oil cooler. It's a little bit with the paint, but it's not rusted. It's just a little bit of flaky with it when it comes to the paint. So someone has already changed this cooler. So I think that's going to be okay to put back. I don't think we're going to have to replace this unless it starts, you know, leaking really badly once we put it all back together. I think we can reuse this actual cooler because these are not cheap. These are really, really not cheap. And I don't want to go down the route of, you know, because at the end of the day, it's going to cost him, the owner, a lot more money in parts. So we basically want to see, you know, what is going on and try and do this as cheaply as possible for him. And that's what I want to try and do. So I've removed the old pipes. As you can see, that pipe there goes around to the cooler in there and then connects to this pipe here. So that's how it goes. So this pipe work here sits like, just get it like that. It sits like this, okay? Like that. Now, someone has already cut this pipe because that is the wrong length for this metal pipe to be here. It should go along here up to about here when it comes to the metal pipe work. So what I think's happened is previously the pipes are corroded because they're really prone for it. On the front end, I'll get a load of comments, people messaging me, commenting, saying, check out Chop's garage. He just had exactly the same problem, exactly the same issue as this. And he has, he showed on the video, but he only showed the, like it is now, but didn't show how it was when he fixed it, if you know what I mean. He said, oh yeah, this is corroded, we've got to replace the pipes. And then the next scene was the bumper completely on and him saying, yeah, it's done. That's not showing exactly how it was fixed. I've got to be honest, guys, it just don't. So yeah, I'm gonna show you exactly what I'm gonna do with this, but basically, the pipes, these replacement pipes are absolutely expensive, extortionate money. And the reason why they are so expensive is because everyone knows that this is the problem and people have to buy it. So they've jumped the prices right up thinking that they can get the money for it. But there's another solution to this. And I've checked loads of forums for the Nissan Juke. Absolute tons of people are just saying, do without the metal pipes. Basically, the metal pipes is just an added little bit extra for the gearbox oil to cool down. So there's a little bit more metal for the pipe. Do you know what I mean? So it cools down a little bit more, but it goes through all this system here on the cooler itself. So what they're saying on the actual forums is completely do away with those metal pipes and just run 2 hoses from in there. I don't know if you can see it. So they connect inside there. There's one there and there's one at the top. So take them out from in there and connect 2 hoses into that, run them round and run them straight up to the cooler. And then, because at the end of the day, that's doing away with those metal pipe work, those 2 metal pipes, doing away with that. Because if I change it, and like someone on the forums turned around and said, he'd done exactly the same thing. He changed the pipes because they was corroded. Changed the pipes. A year later, the pipes were corroded again. So, yeah, they're all saying, just do without it, get rid of it, and then just change it for a brand new hose. And this is what I've got here. This is what I was trying to source yesterday, and managed to get this from a company called Pyrex, and they do like hydraulics for hoses, for dumpsters and you know, those kind of vehicles. And they supply me with this hose, and it's like proper heavy duty stuff. New clips as well, so we're going to put some new clips around the hoses to hold it. Obviously got the CVT gearbox oil service kit, auxiliary belt. I'm going to change that as well for him. I've got other bits and pieces coming, like oils coming. That didn't turn up yesterday, so that's on its way. And also, the other thing we're going to do is, in the side of the gearbox in there, there's a filter. We're going to change that side filter and replace that. We're not going to replace the one underneath. We're going to leave that. Because, yeah, it's ridiculous, a little bit more money. And I'm trying to get it down for him as much as I can and get this repaired and get this car back on the road. He needs this car this week, so this is what we're going to try and do today. So that's the plan. Hopefully, you kind of agree. Some people are going to say, no, you should put it back to standard, put it back to the factory. But the way it was at the factory doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I understand, I get the reason why this is here. Because when you're traveling in the car, the air is going into the cooler and is cooling down the oil. So I get it. I get why that's there. But those pipes are just, they corrode so easy. And it's because obviously, you know, water is coming in and it's splashing and it's going all over the pipes, and it's just causing chaos with those pipe work. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do without them and replace them with the rubber hoses. Hopefully, that should solve the problem. So, yeah, let's get into it, guys. I want to clean off this paint for him as well. He said to me, he messaged me and said, oh, can you just replace the lights? And I was like, no, you don't want to replace the lights. Just try and clean off the red around the lights there. That should all come off. So, yeah, it doesn't need to replace those. So let's get cracking, guys. Let's see if we can get this done for him. First thing we're going to do is do this gearbox oil, do the pipe work, put it all back together, and then run the engine and try to see what it's like. There's no point doing the service until we know that gearbox is going to be okay and running well. So let's do that first. I'm also going to obviously dump the old oil out. There's a sump plug underneath, and then there's a filter up inside. You just undo it and it drops down and all the oil come out. I'm also going to collect the oil in the gearbox to see exactly how much comes out. There's always going to be a little bit extra inside the gearbox. There's always going to be some oil kicking around in there, but it'll be a nice indication to see how much comes out. So I'm going to collect it and yeah, see how many litres we get out of it. Should be 7 litres in this gearbox. 7 litres. That's a lot of oil. So let's get cracking, guys. Let's do this. Right, okay. So guys, let me show you what I've done so far, and that is drain the oil from the gearbox and remove the filter on the side here. It just sits in there. Really, really small paper filter, and this is the housing for it. Yeah, it just goes over. You put it in and you turn it so it locks in. And it's just got a little rubber gasket around the top there. So we're going to be replacing that filter and that gasket as well. But I did sort of kind of say we wasn't going to remove the sump, but I've decided that I think we need to, just to remove as much of this oil as we can, because I don't know if I can show you. There you go. Look, so the sump plug sits up there, but look at the angle. Like I'm sitting, I'm holding that straight. Look at the angle of that sump. Now, a lot of the oil is going to be sitting down this part of the sump because the pipe that is up there. So this point is lower. So all this is going to be filled up with gearbox oil. So, yeah, that sump has to come down to remove as much as we can. I haven't got the sump gasket, or there's another filter that fits up into that gearbox. I've ordered that. That is going to be on its way, but it's not going to turn up till later on this afternoon, about 3 o'clock. So we'll do as much as we can, and the last bit is going to be putting that filter inside and putting that sump back in place. But I'm going to remove that sump, to remove as much as we can, because this hasn't drained a lot. Like, that's it. That ain't good. Sorry, excuse me, I've got a bit of a sore throat today. Guys, that is not good. Look at that, look. That is supposed to be 7 litres. It's just not, it's not good. I really hope we can save this gearbox, and I really hope he hasn't done a lot of damage to this. It'd be an absolute miracle. I'm telling you now, it's going to be an absolute miracle if we put all this back together and he has no problems with that gearbox because of the amount of oil that's not in there. That's unbelievable. He should have bought this car to me a lot longer, a lot quicker. I think he knows it as well, but it just is what it is. You know, some people just, tied up, and finances are hard, and, especially with Christmas is coming up, and yeah, I just really hope for him, and because it ain't going to be nice, really, if we have to do anything with that gearbox, because they are not cheap. Honestly, they are ridiculous money. So, yeah, I was honestly, I was expecting to see a lot more oil than that. I was expecting to see at least 4 or 5 litres, but that's not even. Oh, Jesus Christ, that's not even. Oh, God. 200 mil. Not even half a litre in there. Quarter of a litre. I don't know, but that is just absolutely ridiculous low. There's no metal parts or filings or anything like that. We're going to get a bit more, don't get me wrong, like once we remove the sump and drop the sump down, we are going to get a bit more out of there. So it should, it should be a little bit more, but I just want to, yeah, there should be a lot more than that coming out so far. So let's now remove the sump, and then we have to wait for that sump gasket. We can do everything else, put it all back together and stuff like that. I have got the side filter, that's turned up, so this is the new one. It's like this, and it comes with another rubber seal for the top part. But again, I'm not seeing no oil, no metal filings or no particles whatsoever inside the gearbox oil. So good signs. There is a good sign, but it's inside that gearbox sump is where we're going to see any sort of signs of damage. So yeah, that is what we're going to do next. Let's get that sump down, check inside, and have a good look. So let's do this. Right, okay, so guys, let me just explain what I've done. The sump has now been removed. You can see it there. Just some 10mm bolts all around, just to undo. And this is the filter. This is the filter inside as well. So we're going to remove that filter because we've got a gasket set coming. So it comes with a new gasket. This one here just pulls off like that. So we're going to put a new one of them on there, and we're going to put a new filter in place as well. And quite a lot more oil come out. So I am glad that I did actually do that. You've probably got about 1 litre of gearbox oil there. Again, it's nowhere near enough. Nowhere near. So over this course of this damage on the front that's happened, it's leaked out, 6 litres of oil out of this system. There is some little bits and pieces on this one, which, I don't really know how much we can lose, but it's tiny, tiny metal shavings on this. These two here are like a little magnets there and there. It's not a lot, but it's it's very thin. You can't really work out how much is there, but it's there. Very, very minimal amount, but it's there. So yeah, like I said, guys, all we can do is get this back together for him, and fingers crossed, hope to God that this is going to work. Drive shafts are still sealed. There's no leaks on the drive shafts at all, so that's pretty clean in there. For the age, it's pretty good. We've just got to get this gearbox done for him, haven't we? So that's going to be the next bit. We're going to drop this down, this filter. Looking at the filter, you can look inside it there. It's pretty clean. It is pretty clean. So that's good. That's a good sign, I suppose. But, it's just, we don't know what's been happening in that gearbox. So that is what we're going to do next. Get that down, and then we are going to carry on, do whatever we can before the gasket and the actual filter turns up. So yeah, let's continue, guys. Let's do this. Right, okay. So, guys, making some great progress at the minute on this one. As you can see, I've routed the 2 pipes into the cooler, both sides there. I've actually added another clamp as well. So we've got 2 connections. Excuse me. God. And the pipes go to there and to there at the top. So you've got 2 that side, 2 that side. So there's no way that these should leak, and they're much, much better connected like that. So really tight. Some of it was really tight getting in. That's why I put it in some water here. Hot water, not boiling, just hot. And it loosened up and the rubbers on the pipe to allow it to push on a lot better than what it was. So, yeah, that's all connected. I've done the filter on the side. So that's all been put back in there. New filter. And I've put the actual gearbox oil in this to see how much we actually had got put back in. Let me show you. Let's just say 2 litres. So, yeah, 2 litres of oil has come out of this gearbox when there should be 7. So he's lost 5 litres of gearbox oil, which is a ridiculous amount lost. I've got to be honest. It's going to be an absolute miracle if this gearbox ain't got any issues with it. The good thing, the good signs in a minute is that there was no like metal shavings or any particles in the actual sump itself on the actual, you know, these magnets. You got one here, you got 2 magnets on there that catches all the filings and the shavings from the gearbox, and none of that was in there. So, do you know what? He could have got really lucky on this one. I hope he does. Honestly, I honestly hope that this is going to work for him. I have cleaned the headlights to make them a bit more presentable. The red overspray is now all cleaned off and gone, so they look much, much better. So yeah, when it comes to the gearbox, I'm waiting for the sump gasket and filter to go up underneath. Whilst we wait for that, I am going to move on to the engine service. I'm going to drop the oil on the engine, oil filter, air filter, do all those kind of bits. I know I said I was going to wait for that. Let's get on with the gearbox and let's see if it runs okay before we do it. But I don't know when. He reckons about 3 o'clock for this filter and gasket. So it could. This is going to take most of the day, and it's only 11 o'clock now. So I need to carry on with something else. Can I? Actually, what we could do, let's leave it like that. I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll bring in the Citroen C3 that I've just got back from the paint shop. Let's carry on with that. I've booked an MOT for that tomorrow morning, so we can carry on with the C3. I'll bring it in here. I have had the heater going a little bit as well, just here. It's been absolutely lovely. It's quite ferocious when you do it as well, so which is nice. But and it's loud. It's not loud, but it's you know, it does kick out some noise. But it's great. It feels so lovely and warm in here. You walk outside and it's freezing. You come in here and it's like, oh, nice and cozy. So it's definitely doing its job. I don't have to keep it running all day, just on and off every now and then when I sort of want to put it on, get the temperature back up and stuff like that. So, yeah, let me bring the C3 inside and then I'll show you what that looks like back from the paint shop. And then we should, continue with that one. So let's just leave that for the minute. Let's just wait for the actual filter and the gasket to do the gearbox, and we'll leave the engine service for now. But yeah, good progress so far. But let's keep going, guys. Let's bring in that C3. Right, okay, guys, got the Citroen C3 in the workshop. And let me show you the results from the paint shop. Yeah, it looks absolutely crazy amazing. That's just dirt down there, look, driving it around the yard. I was just checking it and stuff, but yeah, the painter that I use, he does a absolute phenomenal job. And you can see it looks really, really good right through. Probably a little bit shady off of this bit here, if I'm being really picky. You can see it's a little bit off. But yeah, all in all, he's done a great job. He actually painted round the bumper as well. So he's gone right round and took all those stone chips that was all over the bumper. They're all now gone because he painted right round for me. So yeah, looking absolutely wicked. I love it. So what we've got to do on this one is we've got to do a little bit of finishing off. So you can see that this is not connected properly because I was missing the bracket there that goes through there. I've now got that. That's been delivered. That turned up a couple of days ago, actually. So this bracket here goes between the bumper and the wing like that. So we've got to put this on. And a wheel arch. Not a lot, I've got to be honest. Not a lot on this one. There's a few bits and pieces down there we've got to put on as well. So mainly over in this corner. So we'll jack it up, put it on some axle stands, because we've got the Juke sitting there waiting for the sump gasket and filter on that one. So let's just carry on with this one. I'll set you up. Let's get the wheel off. Wheel arch liner, bracket, all connected. That piece has got to go back on as well. And like I said, this is going for an MOT tomorrow morning. So if we can get all these little bits and pieces done, MOT tomorrow morning, get it cleaned, then it's done. It's finished. Just as a good clean up, doesn't it? Inside and out, hoover up, clean, done. Another one finished. So let me set you up. Let's get cracking. Let's do this. Right, okay, so guys, well that didn't take long, did it? It's only a bracket connecting the bumper to the wing anyway. The wheel arch, I was just checking to make sure that everything else seems to be all back together, and it is. All the bolts, everything's been put back. Just checking the engine bay as well. I think we're kind of ready now for this one to go through the MOT tomorrow morning. God, my throat is killing me. It needs a good clean, this car, inside and out. But apart from that, as long as we get a good MOT going through, it just needs a good clean, and we should be done. There's no reason really now. I've looked up, you know, I've checked all around the car, I've looked all around it, make sure if it was good, everything's all right. Yeah, it just needs an MOT and a clean. So, now that's done, I'm going to get this outside. I've got another probably a couple of hours still waiting for these gearbox parts on this car. So, what I'm going to do is I am going to do the service and then put the front bumper back on completely, because everything else now can be done from underneath. There's no reason now why we can't sort of just put the bumper on and work underneath on the car. But I want to do the service first, get to the the engine oil filter is just there. I'm going to check the belt as well. I have got a belt for this, so I might just whip it off and change that auxiliary belt for him as well. Oil change, air filter, and then just put the bumper back on. There's no reason why we can't do that. I need to do things really to carry on, because whatever happens, it's got to be put back together. So, yeah, but I'm just hopefully, fingers crossed for him, that gearbox, he hasn't, you know, caused a lot of damage to it, and it saved it. That's what we really want, guys. We don't want him to have the bill for this gearbox this close to Christmas is, yeah, it's a joke. So, fingers crossed for him, everyone. So, let me get this car out of the way, and then we're going to turn our attention to this. I'll set you up. Let's get cracking with the service, bumper back on, and just continue doing whatever we can. Last thing is going to be the sump, gasket, sump, fill up the gearbox oil. That's what we really want. Yeah, so let's do this. Right, okay, so guys, I've taken it as far as I can for the moment. You know, I've put all this side back together and back in place, but I don't want to put this side back together and all sorted, because I need to still get to in here, because basically there's it's a bit dark, sorry guys. There's a pipe here, and that is the fill-up pipe for the gearbox. So I need to be able to get access to this bit here, so it just make it a little bit easier. I'm probably going to be able to get it from the top, but it just helps a little bit if I've got this open. So that's why I want to leave this end. But yeah, the service is done. Oil change, oil filter, air filter, all been checked, all been sorted. So we're just now waiting for the sump gasket and the filter. So when that turns up, I'll show you that quickly, and then we're going to put it up in place. Hopefully it won't be too long now. So bear with me, guys. I'll see you in a bit. Right, okay, guys. So the parts have turned up finally. So we can now continue and get this up in place. So that's the filter that sits underneath. 3 bolts. And this is the gasket. obviously goes a certain way, so I've got to make sure that it goes, you know, it hits all the bolts in a certain way. But yeah, that's the new gasket. I don't know how this goes. Yeah, I'll work it out. And we'll get this fitted. I think it's like that, isn't it? I don't know. But yeah, it just goes on like that. And then it gets done up tight. So let's do that. What I'm going to do with the oil, I'm going to put in 6 litres of oil in the gearbox. And then after we've done that, I'm going to put 6 litres in, and then we're going to run it to see if this is okay and it's savable. So yeah, fingers crossed, guys, this is going to work. So let's get set up. We're on the last stretch. Let's get this filter up, put the sump back in place, do everything up nice and tight, put 6 litres in, and then turn that key to see if it's any good. So let's do this. Right, okay, so guys, I think we've got some good news. I put 6 litres of gearbox oil in there, CVT, and I've just tried it. Warmed it up a little bit. I'm going through the gears as well, so I'm just checking to make sure, and then leave it running a little bit in reverse. I'm on the ramp, so because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get that oil all around the gears. So I'm trying to use all the actual, so that was neutral, now this is drive. So if I let go off the brake, that is the wheels you can hear, it's not the gearbox. So the wheels are now spinning a little bit. So I'm just trying to slowly bed this oil in. So if I put it into park and then give it some revs, I think we've saved it. He has got so lucky with this one, I'll tell you. This could have gone really bad. So yeah, I think we've done it. So I've got to put another, I'm going to put another litre in there. So make sure that's topped up. Check the oil level as well. I've got to check that to make sure that we've topped up. Now, I've already changed the oil filter, and done the service, but I need to check to make sure that because it's gone around the actual filter, has the oil dropped a little bit, and I've got to check it to make sure that it hasn't or whatever. But yeah, I think apart from that, guys, I think we've saved it. I think we've done it. I think what you've got to do as well is that you have to do something with the inside of that where the sump. There's like a little canister. You have to pull that down to get it serviced. I'll get all that sorted and I'll do all that. I'll put all this back together. But you know, we've saved it. We've done it. So there we go. Obviously, I'm going to take it for a test drive as well. I'm going to check it to make sure there's no noise there. You know, what's happening, if it goes into all the gears. But I think we've actually saved it for him. We've done it. How much longer that would have gone on for? Because really, there's only 2 litres of gearbox oil in there. That's what was pulled out. 2 litres of gearbox oil. So how much more would have been lost before the gearbox would have just give up the ghost, basically? Who knows? But good news for him. Great news. I'm going to put it all back together, guys. I'm going to stay a little bit late so he can pick it up tomorrow. And I'll let you guys know what happens with the test drive. But I think we've actually done it. We've saved it. I'm going to keep an eye on those pipes as well, make sure they're not going to be leaking and stuff, and clean up this little plastic bit a little bit as well, because it's a bit oily. So I want to clean up this as well for him so it looks a bit more presentable. And like I said, put it all back together. I'm going to chuck that 1 litre inside the gearbox as well, finish that off, and then it's done. So that's it. Great news. I think we've saved it. I think there's going to be no issues with it until I take it for a drive and he uses it for a bit. But I think we've saved him an absolute fortune there. So that's it, guys. That's the end of today's video. I've got no more time before I have to get it downloaded. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to drop me a comment, give the video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys tomorrow on the next one. Take care. I'll see you soon.